Okay. And just one couple seconds. And here we go. How you doing, Josiah?
Hey, good. That logo always cracks me up, man. That's great.
The honey badger's like, "Grr."
Yeah, spot
Yeah,
on.
right on, man. Right on. Well, today, folks, as you guys know, it's something that we're trying to start to do, we're trying to get done. Is we have Attorney Josiah Swinney with Indiana Expungements, and he comes on and he talks about different legal issues. Like we're trying to do it a couple times a week, just to be really informative and kind of to help be a resource to people.
Yeah, man,
So
these are calls I get all the time, and it's people who ultimately don't have the funds to hire, or we're talking about today over sentencing. It's, well, really the deal that you've been offered is a pretty good deal. So these are to equip you, the everyman, with the same knowledge that I have going into when I'm negotiating, when I'm deciding whether to take it to trial instead of taking this plea deal. It's all about what matters. Was I over sentenced? Am I about to be over sentenced? Should I take this to the judge, or should I steer way clear of the judge? Because a lot of times people get cold feet at the thought of the judge, but really the judge can be our ultimate savior, because prosecutors' offices usually don't want to do you any favors. So
wow.
This is all about knowing if you were over sentenced, what you can do, and then if you're about to be sentenced, what you should be looking for.
Okay.
A quick
go,
little story for you is over sentencing. Today I saved the life of a rooster. I'm only a criminal attorney. Well, expungements are technically civil in nature, but I still call myself a criminal attorney because those are getting rid of crimes. I took up it was just for an important client. Their rooster was, the city of Indianapolis was trying to kill that thing, send it to the town because it was making unreasonable noise. And oh my God, it was more contentious than our murder hearings, this rooster. And it was about to be over sentenced. Its neck was about to be chopped when I was able to come in and show there's another rooster. So if any of y'all who are considering expungements also happen to have trouble with people trying to kill your rooster, I'm one of the few attorneys with rooster saving experience in Indiana. I guarantee you that. But that rooster will crow another day.
There you have it, folks.
Yeah.
There you have it. There you have it. Hey, what's going on, Mo Justice? How you doing? Hey, what's going on, Malik? How you doing?
Yeah, thanks for it. Was a rooster. Everyone's wanting. The neighbors were about 90 years old. What actually helped me between this hearing and the last, it's just a little bit dark, but the main complainant passed away because she was so old and she was just mad that this rooster's crowing. It's just old ladies, man. They're going to bring cases against you. They're going to be watching out their window. She was just sitting there tracking every time rooster crows. Man, I'm able to. I'm able to show there's other roosters. So if you've ever got a problem with something, a lot of times these cases actually come up with dogs. But I'm in the business of helping people where it really, really matters to them. And sentencing is much easier for me to sort of give some basic guidelines, right? What you're looking for.
Exactly.
No one's safe. That's so right, man. It's the strength of the state. That's what we want to talk about today is, and yeah, it is expungements based on Indiana law, Monica. I'm just seeing your question there. It's everything we really do is based in Indiana law, just because I'm licensed in Indiana. But whenever we're talking about the Fourth Amendment, like last week, that's actually federal law. So there's the Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, and then you have a separate Indiana constitutional protection. That's all. They're completely different tests. In Indiana, you get a little extra protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. But the law is very weird on that. So you have to have someone who really knows how to. Everyone usually gives up on Article 1, Section 11, right? What you hear in court is, I object under both constitutions, and then they only ever argue the federal constitution because that's all state courts really apply. But no, man, the Indiana Constitution can be your savior. And in sentencing, it very much is. It's Article 7, Section 4. So if you walk into a courtroom and you're given, whenever you're charged, there's a whole range of sentences. There's the minimum sentence, the advisory sentence, and the maximum sentence. When you are ever over that minimum or that advisory sentence, you want the Court of Appeals to look at it, because under Article 1 or Article 7, Section 4 of the Indiana Constitution, you are protected from essentially that small town judge or that judge who just didn't like the way you looked at him. That's happens in Marion County too, from sending you away for way longer than they would send everyone else. The language is leaven the outliers, right? If you're getting a sentence, I mean, I'll have people who are dealing in one county get no time, and another county be ordered to years and years and years. Wow. So it's all, and I've, as a deputy attorney general before, I'm no longer deputy attorney general. I have to make that clear. They won't take me off their website, but
yeah,
I wanted to get tattooed on my face the number of years that I think people are wrongfully serving under these. It's usually dealing is where you're getting really bad sentences. So just on the base level, what you're looking at is the nature of the offense and the character of the offender. Those are legal phrases that are that's the whole thing. It's two little sections. Mm-hmm. So you need to make sure as you're going to sentencing that your attorney is limiting the bad evidence that can come in. So if you're pleading, you need a term in your plea that says you are only allowed to consider what we talk about at the sentencing hearing, because so often they don't include that language. And then everything that was ever in front of the judge, usually the probable cause affidavit, mm-hmm. is where the state gets their facts on these sentencing reviews. And the probable cause affidavit, that's the officer's chance to talk shit about you. Mm-hmm. Like that is his time to write the worst possible thing that it could be said for you to have done, what he's hoping to prove. And then that's what you're looking at your sentencing hearing, if you haven't negotiated to keep that out. And it's a very simple negotiation tactic, right? People deputy prosecutors don't think about the meaning of what they're agreeing to. And you say, ooh, can we just limit this sentencing evidence a little bit? Sure. I mean, it seems like nothing. It's a very small request. It should be no problem. A huge part, especially upon appeal, where people get their sentences reduced and where you can make a big difference at trial for yourself, is the character of the offender. It's who am I? So I've seen a partner of mine get up on the stand or questioning our client on the stand and really paints his life as to he is a victim of addiction. His parents were addicts. He was forcefully injected at a younger age. All of this that tells the story of why, hey, I'm accepting responsibility, I'm pleading, but please see me for me. Whereas public defenders, a lot of times when they're busy, or if you've hired an expensive attorney, but he's in demand and he's too busy for you, you're essentially thrown to the dogs at sentencing. You're given these open-ended questions where you're expected to run with it. And let me tell you, you would be very nervous at sentencing. Unless you're talking to judges regularly, it is daunting. So you need people who you need to make sure you have to someone had a long, hours-long conversation.
Sure.
Oh, you're fine.
Sorry.
About who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So the last 7B case I did, it just came out the other day, was for the state. And it was a kid, well, he's 24 years old, but to me, he's a kid. Got 166 years because, well, this one I don't feel bad about. Some of them keep me up at night. This one I don't. For going to a Friendsgiving, you know what a Friendsgiving is?
No, sir.
So a Friendsgiving is like Thanksgiving, but it's not with your family. It just sounds so stupid to explain out. It's with your friends.
Okay.
So all the friends get together. It's usually not on the same day as Thanksgiving. This one happened to be on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
But it's usually you're partying a little harder at Friendsgiving.
Okay. Oh, man.
So everyone shows up for Friendsgiving. Defendant is owed some money for an ounce of weed. He's never paid. So defendant and his buddy just opened fire on their friends, murdering 3 of them and missing 2. They almost died. That'll get you 166.
Yeah, that'll get you gone.
But why does that? Why is that? Because you have multiple victims. You're getting consecutive sentences. The advisory is 55, right? He's getting way above advisory, but the nature of the offense is horrible. And then they're questioning him on his life, and he can't even remember his kids' name. He's trying to say, "Hey, don't put me away forever. I've got kids." You can't remember the kids' names. Now, I know from talking to parents that sometimes you forget the kid's age.
But the name?
You got to get the name, man.
Yeah.
You got to come in with the name. So that's bad character traits. A lot of times people will call me with their offered pleas, and I'll say, "What do you know about what the prosecutor knows about your character?" I say, "Oh, nothing at all." Well, you've got to, all I'm doing is painting. Like, I am doing so much work on the back end for everyone pleading to make sure it's clear who my client is. It starts to be rough when prosecutors get to know me. They're like, "Man, all your people are wrongfully convicted and the nicest people in the world. Is that true?" Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You know,
but I mean, it is
the
law that matters. That's what a good attorney should do for you every time, Darren. And that's what you should make sure you're considering. If you're ever getting a below advisory sentence, well, you're probably going to have a hard time getting out of that. Unless you can actually win on the merits, saying something went wrong happened in a trial. Below advisory sentences, I've seen one ever overturned. One. And that was a guy where it was his first time ever having been in trouble. And it's weird. It was domestic battery, but it was a very minor episode of domestic battery. So it's tough to say domestic battery is ever minor. But as far as domestic batteries go, it barely met the elements of the offense. And then he was a new first-time criminal.
First time.
So that's, your criminal history is huge too. That's your character of the offender. Is you want your attorney to be able to know about you, to be able to explain the source of your problems, but it's very difficult to win on appeal. So the most work you can do is for them at trial, at sentencing, the original trial level sentencing, to show who you are, because the Court of Appeals looks very badly on criminal histories, and certain counties do as well. Hancock County, Hendricks County, and let me tell you, Morgan County. If you've been in trouble before, don't get in trouble there again. And especially not for the same thing. So, and what sort of proactive behavior to avoid oversentencing is, once you commit that crime once, if you're going to keep committing crimes, find a new vein.
It's the new crime.
Yeah. Let's not sell meth twice and then hire Mr. Swinney and get mad when your sentence is looking bad, when you sold to an undercover cop and they've got you on video. There's not a lot to do at that point. So it's all, everyone's sentence. This is sort of just a quick summation. You have the minimum, the advisory, and the maximum. Whenever you're between the advisory and the maximum, especially if it's executed in prison, you better be appealing that, because you have a constitutional right to a reasonable sentence, right? They're leavening the outliers, especially on these drug cases. The only cases I ever lost as a deputy attorney general was a sentencing case for a drug addict. Why? Because he had that history. He had been forced as a kid to inject. He's now blind because of all this drug use.
Oh, wow.
And the police were essentially mocking him. They were like waving their hands in front of him on video while getting him, while buying from him, setting him up. So setups are usually a good way to, you're a good candidate for reduced sentence. If the state's actively seeking you out to make you commit crimes, you probably don't deserve the same sentence as the guy who's cutting everything with fentanyl on purpose, right? And going out and advertising on Snapchat. That's the worst dude. The other thing to think about in sentencing is, how are you serving it? That's very important, because probation, courts don't tend to reduce, right? If you're getting offered probation, you probably should take it. Problem is, long terms of probation set you up for failure. I have a guy with 7 years of probation, and he got in trouble again, and he's now realizing, oh, that means 7 years of prison. And I didn't get him that probation sentence. I always try to steer people toward house arrest, because you're getting credit time on house arrest. So if you have a 2-year sentence on house arrest, and you mess up and you're getting your good credit time, but you mess up 2 days away from having completed the sentence, the most you can do in jail is a day.
Yeah.
If it's a misdemeanor, because you're getting credit
Right.
on that, or you do a little more than a day if it's a felony. There's just different math on that.
Okay.
But you're getting that valuable credit time. 7 years of probation, man.
Yeah. That's chalk line walking, man.
Yeah, last day you mess up, they
Yeah.
can make you serve all 7 years.
Yeah.
So it's probation seen as the easiest sentence,
Mm-hmm.
right? The most lenient. That's a better way of putting it. But it's also can hurt you on the back end the most. So if you're getting a below advisory probation sentence, that means you hired me as an attorney and you're so thankful. But
That's what's
house arrest, you want to make sure you're getting fair exchanges in house arrest. I can get in some counties where they're offering a year of probation, 60 days of house arrest, which for a misdemeanor ends up being 30.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's
I would
nothing,
do that
man.
every time.
Yeah, that's nothing, man.
Don't you feel like, Darren, tell me if your life's different, but I work all day.
Mm-hmm.
All day.
Yeah.
I come home, clients call me, keep working, kiss my wife, go to bed. My life is house arrest because you're allowed to work on house arrest.
Mm-hmm. I work from home.
Yeah. Especially if you're working from home, you're golden.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, you're like, man, like, yep. Yeah.
So it's really, house arrest can be a big benefit if you can get the right deal.
Mm-hmm.
Other counties, though, just give a little bit of a deal on house arrest. Like they'll give you half the time, which no, man, I'm not taking that.
Right.
And then from there, there's just, if you're in, it's called community corrections. It's different levels of how in your business they're going to be. Are you wearing an ankle monitor, things of that nature?
Mm-hmm.
And then you move up, it's jail or prison. It's executed time, DOC executed or jail executed. Honestly, my clients who I visit in DOC do better. People in DOC are happier than people in Marion County Jail.
Yeah.
Marion County Jail is a nightmare.
Yeah. People dying in there.
Yeah, I hate it because they put everyone in the turtle suits. I don't know if you know what those are.
Yeah. Yep.
They look pretty inhumane, but it's like where you're tied up.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of people with mental health problems, but they're like right in the open to be screwed.
That's how you handle it. That's how you handle a mental health problem.
Yeah.
You put them in a Ninja Turtle suit.
Put them in a cage so none of them can move and they're all rolling around in turtle suits. It's horrible.
That's horrible, man.
And those people were probably oversentenced and probably didn't have good representation. My wife, I'm so proud of her, really takes it on herself to represent the homeless population.
Mm-hmm.
Where, yeah, they probably did something small in front of an officer and they're not going to win, but she'll make sure that it's so overlooked. But we're going to end on this. It's nature of the offense and character of the offender. Are you getting thorough representation on the nature of your offense and your character?
Right on. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming today, man, and sharing this with us. And if you guys are in Indiana and you need an expungement, old arrest, or whatever, give us a call. Go to IndianaExpungementHelp.com. It's IndianaExpungementHelp.com.
I appreciate you, man.
Right on.
Always
Thank you so much. And let's do this one real quick. We got a couple of them, man. If I can get to it.
I was thinking last night about this case and their theory and how it didn't make any sense and how it didn't fit and how something is wrong. It occurred to me how they were going to come here and stand up here and tell you how O.J. Simpson was going to disguise himself. Was going to put on a knit cap and some dark clothes, and he was going to get in his white Bronco and this recognizable person and go over and kill his wife. That's what they want you to believe. That's how silly their argument is. And I said to myself, maybe I can demonstrate this graphically. Let me show you something. This is a knit cap. I'm going to put this knit cap on. You've been seeing me for a year. If I put this knit cap on, who am I? I'm still Johnny Cochran with a knit cap. And if you look at O.J. Simpson over there, and he has a rather large head, O.J. Simpson in a knit cap from 2 blocks away is still O.J. Simpson. It's no disguise. It's no disguise. It makes no sense. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
All right.